Hello everybody, Weather Insider here, and I'm here to make an update on my video from earlier. Expect a few more of these throughout the day, especially if any massive tornadoes happen. Hopefully not. I'm crossing my fingers for all the people in Oklahoma City. This seems to be lining up to be very bad. So it's looking like today there's a high risk. It's much bigger than earlier. It now stretches through most of central Oklahoma, including Oklahoma City and into Texas. And there's already multiple tornadoes happening, or tornado warnings out there, and one confirmed tornado in Texas right now. Um, there's a large, moderate risk around that as well, taking up almost nearly all of Oklahoma and going down into more of central Texas, and then an enhanced risk surrounding that, but pretty tightly. But that goes into parts of Missouri and Arkansas, stretches up through a bit of Kansas, covering up the most of the rest uh, of Oklahoma, except for the Panhandle and the southeastern part. And then a slight risk stretches into Colorado, New Mexico, through more of Texas, the Texas Panhandle, down to the Mexico border, and back up from the next Mexico border, more of central Texas, going back over to the southeastern part of Oklahoma, into Arkansas, and into Missouri even more. And then lastly, a marginal risk outlines all of that, but we're not going to focus on that. And the East Coast and the Northeast, there is a slight risk that takes up the New England portion of the United States. But that is really not important right now. We're going to focus on the high risk for this entire video. So, moving on to the tornado probabilities, which are absolutely insane. We are seeing a 45% chance for tornadoes within 25 miles of a point within that high risk zone, and then in the northwestern and northern portions of that high risk zone, and the rest of it has a 30% chance for tornadoes. And for a scale, and the picture, if you look in the bottom right corner, you can see the scales, and it is the third highest ranking on the list, which is absolutely insane. Nothing's happened like this in, I think, in a couple years at least. So this is a very, very dangerous situation, especially it is over some major population centers. A 15% risk outlines that 30% chance, and a 10% outlines that once again, and that entire 10% and inward zone is covered by a hatched thing, meaning that there's a 10% or greater chance for a EF2 to EF5 tornadoes within 25 miles of those points. And lastly, a 5% surrounds all of that, followed by a 2%. So basically, all of Oklahoma, you are in a tornado risk of at least 5% or greater, and most of that north central Texas area is also in a 5% or greater zone. But if you're bordering Oklahoma, especially if you live in the northern central portions of Texas, you are definitely inside of a very high risk for tornadoes, and most likely there is one tornado warning around you right now. Um, Moving into the hail probabilities, we can see a very large 45% risk zone stretching most of the high and moderate um, zone from Texas upwards into Oklahoma, once again covering Oklahoma City. And surrounding that is a 30% chance for large hail, and surrounding that is a 15% chance. That stretches down to the Mexico border, once again, just like the other ones did. And we can see the hatch zone as well I think that is also a 10% chance for large hail within 25 miles of a point. It's a 1 inch or larger hail within 10%. Or 2 inches or larger, I'm sorry. 2 inches or larger within 25 miles of a point. So huge hail is possible with these storms. Just hail damage is going to be a thing. Very dangerous. And the storms seem to be lining up for a very dangerous situation to happen. Um, and then moving into the wind, we can see very, very large area for wind damage possible today. We could see here a massive 45% zone once again, and a 30% zone for wind damage, and there's a hatched zone as well for 65 knot winds within 10 miles of a point, which that's I think that was like 70 miles per hour winds, if I remember correctly. But just the measurements aren't needed. I saw earlier it's basically a pretty large chance for 80-mile-an-hour winds for some of these storms. So definitely be on the lookout. Another one of the population centers at risk for Texas, Abilene and Wichita Falls, Texas, as well. So if you live in basically anywhere in central or western Oklahoma and anywhere in the northern central portions of Texas into the Texas Panhandle, you are in a very, very dangerous area. And I really want to put out a specific message for the people in Oklahoma City. The situation in Oklahoma City seems to be lining up. The future radar forecast that I've been looking at seem to be lining up perfectly for a line of thunderstorms to just endlessly keep going over you. And I'm guessing most of these thunderstorms will be tornadic. So if you live in Oklahoma City or any of the neighboring areas of Oklahoma City or Tulsa, Tulsa's also seems to be in this path, you are going to be in a line of thunderstorms that could be potentially tornadic. And if any of these thunderstorms have a large tornado, there's going to be a lot of damage that's going to happen. And it looks like it could be hitting any of the Oklahoma City or metro or any of the suburbs of Oklahoma City. So definitely be on the lookout. It is going to be a very dangerous situation. For what I can see, there's already 4 tornado warnings up, but it looks like that could be higher. As currently, there's only 4 tornado warnings, but the situation is just starting. A lot of these thunderstorms are just firing up, and this risk is going to carry throughout the night. So you're not going to be clear for a while for these thunderstorms. So definitely be on the lookout. I'm going to end this video here, and I'm going to try to get this out as fast as possible. So there might be some stutters in this video, and I'm sorry about that. Some mistakes. I need to get this out as fast as possible so I can keep putting these updates out, because this situation is going to progress in very quickly. Thank you for watching. I will probably see you in a video very soon.